Hello gentlemen, welcome back. I'm dating coach Naz, and in today's video I'm going to get into, in order to attract your dream woman, I would like you to start off with these 4 things. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to create this is because if you're finding it difficult to follow these 4 things, then working with me will most probably not work really, because in order for me to coach men, I don't like to do the whole superficial crap, which is like, say this and get the woman. Like, that's just not what I do. And I know that crap doesn't work. So you can waste your money, but it's not going to work. What really is going to work is going deep within, and you have to literally get in alignment with your soul, okay? And release a lot of blocks that we subconsciously hold on to and rewire your program. There's a lot of different things that we get into, but I just wanted to create something where we can kind of get to the tip of the solution, which will kind of give you an insight and basic insight on kind of what you need to get into, and maybe something you're missing that you can start to implement in your day-to-day routine. And so let's get right into it, because I know I'm going to keep on going. So the first thing that I would like you to do is I would like you to write a letter to your parents and 2 people that you need to forgive. So a lot of us have had experiences in our childhood with our parents that might have created some sort of a trauma within us, which we then are kind of continuing on in our adult life. And even if you don't have any trauma with your parents, you're very lucky to not have that. But for a lot of us, and I noticed this because when I started talking about my story, so many people came up to me and said, oh my God, my mom is the same way, or my dad is the same way. And so it makes us feel like, okay, we're not alone in this. But even if you haven't had trauma with your parents, that's amazing. But as a child, most of us go through some form of a trauma, okay, whether it's with your teacher, getting bullied in high school, whatever that trauma is, we have had one. So the first thing that I would say is, regardless of if you have had something traumatic or not, most of us have, I would recommend to write a letter to your mother, 1 letter for your mom and 1 letter for your father. And I would basically like you to really sit with yourself and go in deep and start from the very beginning. As a child, what was your experience with your parents? What were the needs, some of your needs that weren't getting met? As a child, has there been something that they have done, something that was abusive or toxic or unhealthy, or maybe they made you feel or they played a role in your lack of confidence or lack of worthiness within yourself. So, it's really important that you let go of these, this energy, because even though we might think, oh, I'm not thinking about it, I don't care about it, but there is a part of you, because your body really doesn't forget trauma. It really holds on to it unless you really do the work to release it. So I definitely would recommend to write a letter to your mom and your mom and your dad, individually or together, whatever works for you. And a lot of people get super emotional doing this work because you really are going back to your old self, to the little child, the naive, innocent little boy that maybe, got abused as a kid. And so this isn't the easiest thing to do, but I again would highly recommend to do this kind of work, because it definitely helps you to let go and release. If you feel like you need help of a therapist, then most definitely seek that help, so we make sure you're doing it in the right way. As soon as people do this, men do this, I see a huge shift in their energy, and they start literally attracting things, women into their life, money, everything starts flowing in. So I know it sounds so, like, why do I need to write a letter to my parents? But it really does something enormously in your body and energetically as well. So after you do that, I also want you to write a letter to 2 people that have hurt you badly. 2 people that you need to forgive. So individually write a letter to that person and then the other person, and After you write these letters, again, do it individually, don't do it all together. And in these letters, you can get into the positives and also the negatives. It doesn't have to be a very negative letter, but at the same time, if you feel like it's a very, you had a very negative experience, definitely vent it all out and say like, this is how you made me feel, and it kind of led me to XYZ. So you can kind of talk about whatever your experience was, or let it all come out. And at the end of it, I would highly recommend that you end up forgiving this human being that has hurt you. And I know that a lot of people, a lot of therapists as well, they don't really agree with that. Like, you shouldn't just forgive people, and it takes time. And I agree with that as well. I feel like forgiveness is something that is very personalized. Like, every person has a different experience. But I do feel like eventually you need to be able to forgive. So what I would say is, if you're able to forgive, highly, highly recommended, because at the end of it, each individual that comes into our life, no matter how dirty and difficult that experience was, it was there to teach you a specific lesson. Okay? Even children that go through these experiences, I know it's tough to even talk about it, like thinking about a child, like who is it, Oprah, that went through a lot of abuse. Anyways, I don't want to get into it, but basically it's about really recognizing that was an experience, and now that experience is done. And now it's time for you to let go of that experience and become the best version of yourself. And of course, you don't have to forget that experience, but you just have to let go of that human being and their energy. Because, as I said, a lot of the times we're holding on to that. We still have like a little string attached to them, which is kind of like holding us back from attracting whatever we need to, attract in our destiny. And so I would recommend to forgive, and there's actually a way of doing it, which I have it in my course. But it's super simple. Literally you're just saying like, I forgive you, and I know that you came in my life for a specific reason, but now it is time for me to release you from my life and from my energy. And so you really can make this personalized to yourself, but I do have a specific way of doing it, which is in my new course that I'm going to be launching soon. So also, as you're doing this, as you're reading out the letter, I want you to feel whatever the emotions that come up. A lot of the times with men, what I work on with men is actually just being more vulnerable and opening up. And the amount of men that I work with that get emotional when they work with me, and they're like, this is my first time that I've ever been emotional. It blows me away, because I'm like, as a woman, like, we cry all the time and we're always releasing. And so it's really, really important that if you feel like you've never cried before, I highly would recommend to talk to somebody or tap into that energy where you need to release that emotion, because it is really blocking you from whatever you're trying to attract into your life. So as you're reading it, feel that energy, whatever it is, cry. If you have anger, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with anger. Just make sure that you're releasing the anger. You're not holding on to that anger. Because anger, and if you really look at it, it's really just pain. And after you read the letter out loud and you say, I forgive you, you take a deep breath, and then I would like you to burn that letter. A lot of people say flush it down, but for me, what really, I feel like what is the most effective is burning that letter away. It's a very great way of cleansing that energy out of your magnetic field. Now, the second thing that I would recommend is to meditate every morning for 10 minutes. So a lot of people say start small and start for 2 minutes. I say no, go big or go home. Start for 10 minutes. That's your starting point, because I feel like in 2 minutes you don't really get the gist of meditation. I feel like for the first 2 minutes, your thoughts are just going haywire. So I feel like you don't really feel, actually, to be honest, you don't even feel the shift in 10 minutes, to be honest. With real meditation, when you really get into it, you see the results after half an hour to an hour. And the reason is because for the first half an hour, your thoughts are just like, it's like mumbo jumbo. There's a lot of things happening. And it's not about controlling your thoughts, but it is about putting the focus on where you want it to go. What I would highly recommend, if you're somebody that really wants to tap into your higher self and really listen to God that is within you, which is within all of us, is to meditate, to close your eyes. Meditation is literally just closing your eyes and shutting the fuck up and not having any TV or phone on, all right? No distractions, no kids, nobody. You're by yourself. It's just you. A lot of people are scared to do this because they don't really want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the shit that they don't want to face, that they don't want to get uncomfortable. So if you want love, you have to get uncomfortable. A lot of men, they want love, but they don't want to face, they don't want to confront shit. And that's not how love is. It's actually the pathway to facing your truth and getting in alignment with your purpose. Because think about it. If you're lying to yourself, if you're having masks and just like, saying things to people in order to get something out of them, you're out of alignment with your soul. And whenever you're looking for love, you have to be honest with yourself, because you can only find your soulmate once you're when you're authentic, your truest, highest version of yourself. That is when you attract your soulmate. But a lot of the times we think, you know what, if I just I'm charismatic and I show off my money and my wealth and my cars, I'm going to get the woman. Yes, you are going to get the woman, the wrong type of woman that is not going to really support you, nurture you, truly love you, and it's going to end up in her taking all of your money. So, you decide what you want. So meditation, how I don't know how I get to different topics. Anyways, so meditation every morning for 10 minutes. The reason why I would start off, again, this is what my starting point is for you. I really, the routine in the morning and the nighttime is a bit, it's a bit extra for people. So I feel like this is something that you can start off with and just see how you feel. And already, just by doing these 4 things, you literally are getting, first of all, free advice. This is something that I would recommend to every human being that comes my way. So try this out and see how your body feels. You also are going to notice people start coming up to you, and you're going to find like little shifts throughout your day, and you're going to be like, something is weird, like something is happening. You're going to feel that within your body. So start off with the meditation for 10 minutes. I have a recommendation for the meditation, which I recommend to all of my clients, which is a self-love. It's nothing to do with my in the YouTube or anything like that. It is a meditation that I have practiced for a long time. I give it, I recommend it to most of my clients. And so it's a self-love meditation for men and for women as well. Now, the third thing that I would like you to do is to ask yourself every single day, what am why am I so dramatic? Oh my God, grateful for today. And I know that people are probably tired of hearing, just be grateful, just have gratitude and all that crap. Yeah, it's because you haven't actually practiced it. That's why you are saying that, because you don't actually, you haven't put it into your lifestyle yet. That's why you're saying that. That's why you're like getting annoyed by it. But when you actually try this, so whenever your mind gets into lack mindset, those limiting beliefs start coming up again, you can acknowledge those thoughts, but also remember, hey, but I'm alive. Hey, I'm healthy. Like, there's people that are my age that have got cancer and passed away and left their kids behind. There's people that have, got killed, murdered. There's just like so many crazy things that can happen to us. And we get so stuck on these little things in our lives that are, oh, I don't have this yet. Okay, fine. You don't have it yet, but you are putting work into it. You're having intention each day. And eventually, when you're persistent, it's gonna come into your reality. But the moment that you get into, oh my God, this is never going to happen to me, I'm trying so hard, and being a victim, again, I always recommend to you guys, and maybe it's not a popular opinion, but I say to let yourself have it for about 5-10 minutes. Let yourself go down that annoying rabbit hole, because sometimes I feel like when you resist it, it becomes even bigger. So let yourself have it, and then you have to reframe it and say, well, hey, I'm here, I'm alive, I have a life, I have a home, I have food, I have water, I have shelter. Like, you have to get into that appreciation mode. Otherwise, everything in life of yours is going to be a failure. I can guarantee it. I'm not even hesitating. I know it's going to be a failure for you, because even when you find your soulmate, you still are going to find things in her that are flaws. You're not going to really appreciate her, and she's not going to stay because you're not really appreciating her in that relationship. And last but not the least, I want you to get clear on what you want, which is, again, another thing that I've been saying for a million years. Actually, I'm going to erase this, so You guys can see it. Great. Now I'm going to erase it, and I'm going to give you guys something that I want you to try out. Get a journal, and I want you to try this out. So the way that I want you to get clear is to make a circle and write soulmate. Sorry guys, my crayons, my markers. Oh my god, my markers are. Can you guys see that? Yeah, hopefully you guys can see that. There, I have to buy new ones. I know. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to write soulmate in the middle of the circle. I want you to write down qualities that you are looking for in a woman. Okay, but I want these to be intrinsic, most of them. Okay, so I don't want any of this to be, a big booty and curvy and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want any of that. I want this to be about how you want her to make you feel. Because a lot of the times we're just looking for superficial crap, which again is not going to, result in a long-term relationship. And again, whenever you do this crap, like, be careful what you ask for because you're going to get it, okay? Like, I'm not even saying this lightly. Like, whenever I write stuff like this down, things end up happening. So you can say things like loyal, you feel emotionally safe with her, supportive, good human, kind. Guys, if you don't have a woman who's kind, you're fucked, okay? Anyways, so moving on. I want you to fill out all of these, and of course, I want you to make this much bigger than it is. Have it in your journal, have it in your notes, and I want you to truly believe that this love that you're talking about is actually out there in the real world. That it actually exists. I just really want you to start off with these 4 things that I mentioned in this video, and basically, I just want you to get started because a lot of the times we want things, but we procrastinate because of fear and doubt. Those 2 things are like, they literally are going to take away your life away from you because you're too scared or you're too, you're living in fear of what if I do put my heart out there on the line? Am I going to get rejected? Am I going to get, cheated on or taken advantage of? And so instead of just, putting action and just having faith that that right woman, as long as you are a good human being and you have good intentions and you're aware and you have boundaries, that is the only thing you need in order to attract the right woman. And of course, you need to have something called discernment. So whenever you meet people, you need to have that intuition. Again, that is where I get into meditation, because a lot of the times when I speak to men, they're not grounded. They're a bit chaotic. They're doing a bunch of things. I do this job and that job and this job and I get it. But, the economy, I get all those kind of things. And I'm in the same boat as you guys, right? But you have to put in that time, extra 10 minutes, wake up 10 minutes and invest that time into yourself instead of going and, watching porn for that extra 10 minutes or, getting drunk with the boys or whatever. Put in this work into yourself. And if you're somebody who's young, I know there's a lot of men actually that are younger as well that come to me and they're looking for advice, looking for support. And so just start off with these things, and eventually when you're ready to really get fully in it and you're like, okay, now I can hire a coach, and now I can, maybe start a program where somebody can hold me accountable, then you can go ahead and do that. But I just wanted to create something that is a little bit short and easy. I really hope that this video has been helpful for you. If it has, please let me know down in the comments how it has helped you. Also, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for all the new followers. I love you. I appreciate you. And it just gives me more motivation to keep on going and just pushing through and really, changing men's lives, because that is something I'm super duper passionate about, because I do feel like when we invest in the mental health of men, it really is going to impact not only the trajectory of where humanity goes, because as men are leaders, right? And so we have to invest into our leaders right now. I feel like men are struggling the most in regards to mental health, and so I want to be part of that journey, I guess, with you guys. Also, if you need individualized support and you feel like whatever you've been trying has not been working out and you're still frustrated and stuck, then I would definitely recommend to, look for a different way of finding the answer, because sometimes we're doing the same thing and expecting a different result. If you're done wasting time and you are ready to level up, then I do recommend to check out my magnetic attraction breakthrough session, which is my single session that I offer, and the links are down below for that. And I will see you guys in my next one.